Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm going to be doing a mid-season review of Devs from FX on Hulu. So as you saw in my first review, I've been really enjoying the show. I think that Alex Garland is a master at doing these realistic sci-fi shows, this realistic sci-fi content. So as this series is progressing, we're starting to see more and more of Farce, megalomaniac, god complex activity, and really what's driving who he is as a person. And I think that's something that is really pushing this show forward. I think he is one of the most compelling, if not the most compelling character on the show so far. And this is in no small part due to Nick Offerman's performance. He is so good in this role as someone who's able to flip that switch from someone who's so driven and so concentrated on his goal to just kind of losing it, being so heartless and callous. And that balance is something that really makes his character compelling. It's something really interesting. You want to get into his mind and understand where he's coming from. And you see that mostly in his interaction with the devs team, which I think is also a very interesting cast of characters. Their different goals, their different relationships with each other. He's able to snap on these people that are doing their best for him. They think that they're accomplishing something, like they're reaching this precipice of their mountain, and he just cuts them down immediately, that it's not good enough, it's not, it's not up to snuff for him. And that reflects in a lot of ways the reality of maybe some CEOs in the tech industry. You hear a lot of stories about people in the past head of these huge companies that strive for perfection. Nothing less than perfection is worth anything. So you get to see that on display with his character. And it's even added to another level because it's his mission to, see his daughter, to relive the experiences with his daughter. This whole thing, Amaya, everything is after his daughter. And I thought the scenes where he talks about, if one little thing is changed about the past, if one variance is there, it's not true, it's not real, it's not worth anything. That's an interesting concept because we're diving into the idea of ultimate universes, alternate ways of everything can be different. There's unlimited ways that things change, and that little change makes it not real and not relevant to now's reality. And when really they dived into that, one hair different on the head of Jesus, is that our Jesus? One thing different about his daughter, that is not his daughter. And just that concept really hit home with me. It's a really interesting way that they're taking this show. And the scene in particular where he finally does get to see his daughter, when he sees that projection, she takes that algorithm that can do sounds and time, and he's able to see it, and it just breaks down. His character is fully shown his emotional shell of who he is. He puts up this exterior that he doesn't really care. He's so callous and dark. But then you get to the core of who he is and you realize that the humanity is there. And at the end of the day, Alex Garland always seems to do this with his content, is that it's about humanity. Technology is always pushing and progressing, but at some point you're getting to the crux of what is real, what is humanity, what makes us who we are. And this show is definitely no exception. I think it tackles these concepts, these really big picture concepts, in a way that's really consumable for a normal person. And there's another character that doesn't get a lot of screen time that I think is really going to be interesting as the series goes on if they decide to take a direction with them. And that is the homeless person that lives outside of Lily's house. He doesn't really have any ties to the material world. He's not someone who's beholden to a large company or any real power structure. So you see his interaction with Kenton, the security detail guy, and he kind of mentions, I'm not afraid of you. And he's like, I know you're not afraid of me, and it's hard for me to understand why you're not afraid of me. And it's that concept that the power that big industry and technology and all that holds over people can be broken with the simplest of humanity. The most basic things can triumph maybe the biggest, most intense things. And that's a power struggle that I would like to see delve into a little bit more. Maybe we're seeing what the basics of humanity against a technology that's all watching and all controlling, how those two would pair up against each other. And I think we're getting to that point. You saw a little bit of the interactions with, I think it was the senator or some other government entity, where they come and talk to Forrest, and he says, as long as I keep donating to your campaign, you're not going to dive into what we're doing here. So you're getting to the concept of government and private industry kind of tamping down the normal everyday person, and where that conflict will reach a pinnacle, where that will happen. I feel like Lily's character has really come along in the past couple episodes. The first two, I wasn't really that intrigued with what was going on with her. She felt very hollow. I didn't know where things were going to go, but now she's trying to take control of what's happening. And there's something that they did in, I believe it is the fourth episode, it might be the third episode, in the very beginning. They use lighting on the faces of some of the main characters to maybe reflect who they are as a person or what they're going towards. You have a green light over Forrest, and maybe that's greed or ambition, or they're having that all-consuming greed there. You have a red light around her rage and all that. You have other lights that are reflecting who people are, and that's something that the show has done well cinematography-wise. You're able to set the mood with both lighting, sound, and the way that they create this world. You get a different feeling from something. Something can be so beautiful and awe-inspiring, but at the same time, it's terrifying. And being able to capture that touchstone there, that cross between horrifying and beautiful, is something that's hard, I think, in the visual medium. We've seen it before in Alex Garland's work, so I do like how you get that, oh, this is so impressive and amazing looking, but at the same time, the idea of it is horrifying. And again, the series has continued to have some really incredible soundtrack and score. Like I said in the beginning, they're able to capture the mood so well with this score. And I looked it up. I didn't realize that the composer or creator of the music in this show also did Annihilation and Ex Machina. You definitely get Annihilation vibes that continue with that very bellowing industrial sound. That boom, I think that just that sound invokes something in you. Just that sound just creates this uneasy feeling, and they're able to use that so well in this show. And then they also switch into some very soft melodic sounds that are maybe over top of something really violent and really drastic. The way they're able to manipulate the scenes using sound, it's really well done. The show in general is something that's really hooked into me, and I just cannot wait to see where it's going. It's so visually pleasing too. Like I said, I really do enjoy his style, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. And at the end of the day, I feel like we have two forces moving at each other that are going to crash, and I cannot wait to see how that will play out. You have Forrest's driven ambition of just getting back to his daughter, creating the ultimate ability to go forward and backwards in times and see things how they were. And then you have Lily, who doesn't care about any of that and just kind of wants to bring it all down, wants to be able to take this whole thing down. So you have two forces, the little guy, and then Lily, who's trying to rise up against the big guy and Forrest, and where we're going to reach and what that's going to mean for society if these things fully break out. So I just honestly, like I said, I just cannot wait to see how they're going to pull it off. Alright guys, so those are my quick thoughts on the last couple episodes of Devs. Let me know if you've been watching it, how do you enjoy it? What are some of your theories as to what's going to happen? I've had some really interesting conversations with people about the first couple episodes about the technology behind what's going on. So if you know anything about some of the theoretical ideas here, I would love to see those down below. If you have any philosophical ideas about what this would mean implications wise, the ability to go forward and backwards in times, they jump into that a little bit, that if you change something, what would that be? He talks about being magicians. You see the future and you decide not to do it, and how that would change things. We've jumped into that a lot in different time travel movies and shows. But if you have any concepts or ideas you want to talk about, I think it really invokes some conversation more than anything. And I'd love to have that in the comments down below. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.